When we talk about some of the most underrated point guards of all time in NBA history, Kemba Walker definitely comes to mind. What up, everybody? It's your boy STG Hoops here with a brand new video. The love on the channel, everybody, has been so humbling, man. We're getting closer and closer to that big 1K subscriber mark. I'm so excited, man. Thank y'all for the love, for the support. We're really working hard on this channel, and if you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and join Team STG as we really just start to grow and have a lot of fun with this YouTube thing, man. Today we're going to be talking about Kemba Walker. Where is he now? What has he been up to? What has he done? And if you like this series, then let me know in the comments down below what other player we should talk about in regards to where are they now type of thing. But let's get started with Kemba Walker. I wanted to start with Kemba Walker as the first of this series because he's somebody who I personally have a lot of respect for. I had the great privilege of meeting Kemba Walker, and honestly, man, he is legit one of the nicest, most sincere guys I have ever met in regards to an NBA player. When I met him, he wasn't cocky, he wasn't arrogant. He greeted me with a huge smile, took a picture with me, was playing 2K, was just such a chill guy, man. And that goes a long way, because before we get to his statistics and things like that, Kemba Walker, and a lot of people may not even know this, he actually won the NBA Sportsmanship Award 2 times. That just goes to show how sincere of a guy he is, how he's respected by players, by, league staff, and just people in general, man. So really happy that I got to meet him, and his character went a long way. But when we talk about his NBA career, it's definitely has its highs, and then obviously they have some lows, and then maybe things right in the middle. Now, Kemba Walker, before we even get to the NBA, was a star in UConn. And if you YouTube Kemba Walker UConn, one of the first highlights you're going to see is one of the most nastiest, filthiest crossover buckets ever, and clutch as well. And that's really kind of what set Kemba Walker into the NBA, coming from an amazing career with UConn, and then obviously then going to the NBA with the Charlotte Hornets, man. Kemba Walker was drafted 9th overall, and it wasn't by the Hornets at the time. It was actually the Charlotte Bobcats. Now, if you played 2K back in the day, the Charlotte Bobcats were a really fun team to play with, man. Henderson, Gerald Wallace, you know what I'm talking about if you play the OG games. But that's the team he was drafted to. And right off the bat, you can already tell that Kemba Walker was going to be a stud. His first season, he averaged 12 points a game, and he wasn't a starter. He played 66 games, only started 25 games, wasn't an official starter, but you could already tell that he had a bounce in his step. He could shoot that rock, and he can dribble that rock, which literally led to him being a straight-up starter the next season. And even more impressively, his second season, he played all 82 games, started all 82 games, and averaged 17.7 points a game. That's a huge jump, going from 12 to almost 18, especially back then where nobody was, averaging 30 plus, 35 points a game, minus the Kobe exception, right? So really cool to see. And because of how well Kemba did, he pretty much solidified himself as like a straight up key piece for this Bobcats soon to be, Charlotte Hornets team. He then ended up averaging almost the same 18 points a game for another 2 seasons, which then led him to take that big, increase to the 20 mark. When he was 26 years old in his 6th season, he really started to explode. 23 points a game, playing 79 games, super impressive. The next season, literally 22. And then the next season, his last season with this Hornet squad, at 28 years old, playing all 82 games. Notice the theme of how, consistent he was in regards to playing the games. Like, he was not getting hurt at this time. 25.6 points a game. He was at the peak of his career, and it was just so great to see. Now, at this time, prior to going to Boston, he was already a 3-time All-Star. Awesome to see. And then obviously we know that Kemba Walker landed in Boston, and this is super exciting at the time because you got a super solid squad with a lot of potential, and you see where Boston is now, right? They went to the finals last year. Just signed Jaylen Brown to a elite, highest paid NBA player ever contract. Jason Tatum, Horford, and the squad. So Kemba was going to be that missing piece that was going to really try to take this team to another level. Gordon Hayward may have been on the team at the time, but it was really exciting to see. And he averaged 20 points a game that season and actually was a starter as well. And he ended up playing for about 2 seasons until they actually traded him. And it was kind of crazy, bro. I remember this. He ended up getting They wanted Al Horford. They didn't have Al Horford at the time, so they ended up getting Al Horford from the Thunder. And Kemba Walker eventually got traded to the Thunder, and he then got waived, which then led him to, of course, go to the New York Knicks. And, a lot of people don't remember this part of, him, the whole OKC thing. But he ended up signing with the New York Knicks. And unfortunately, that's when things really started to go downhill. And it was really tough to see. And I honestly think it was really unfair. So keep in mind that my man was making a lot of money, right? So happy for Kemba Walker that he was getting the bag. He ended up making, when he was in Boston, $32 million his first year, $34 that second year, and then in that third year, somewhere along the lines of in the 30s when you combine his OKC Thunder salary with his New York Knicks salary, right? Now, when he went to New York, things unfortunately really started to go downhill. Really tough to see, man. Because the thing about the New York Knicks is their coach is Tom Thibodeau, and I'm a Bulls fan, so I know how it is having Tom Thibodeau as your coach. And he is a person who really just likes to play his favorites, right? That's just how it is. When he was coaching the Chicago Bulls and, our whole squad of Luol Deng, Derrick Rose, Butler, Boozer, etc., he had his core pieces, Taj Gibson, etc., and he wouldn't really play anybody else. He would be very content with his core of 5 or 6 people and seldomly play the bench. Kind of one of the reasons why Rose got hurt. He was reluctant to, I'm not blaming Tibbs, but, his reluctancy to sit Rose even when they were up by a lot, I'm sure played a factor. But that's just how he is. Even, wherever he goes, he demands the most out of his players and he has favorites, right? That's obviously, if you a Bulls fan, you a NBA fan, you know that. And obviously when he went to, New York, he started every game, but he just wasn't producing to a level that Thibodeau expected. Now, offensively, Kemba was still getting some level of buckets. He was getting about almost 12 points a game in those 37 games that he's played and started for New York, but defensively just wasn't making the cut, in Tibbs' eyes. And if you're a Knicks fan, let me know what you think. Like, what did you think about, Kemba and in that whole situation? But clearly, the Knicks wanted to develop other young studs like RJ Barrett, etc., and eventually he ended up getting traded in the offseason. He ended up getting traded to the Detroit Pistons, and then the Pistons actually waived him. They actually waived him, and then when we go to last season, he played for Dallas for about, 9 games or so? Only 9 games. He averaged about 8 points a game in those 9 games that he played. He only started one of them, and unfortunately, that's the last where we saw Kemba. Obviously, there were rumors maybe the Lakers will sign him or another team will grab him, but just really didn't end up working out. And it's obviously very tough and sad to see, especially when we're talking about a player who literally had, 10K points in the league and, probably set a plethora of records for the Charlotte franchise. And obviously Boston fans loved him and he won these awards, just a multiple-time All-Star. And that just shows you how cutthroat the NBA is. And then when we flash forward to now, right, clearly Kemba, had some difficulty signing with an NBA team. Now, is his path to the NBA officially done? Definitely not. But for the foreseeable future, at least for 1 year, he's actually planning, and he already did, he actually ended up signing a 1-year contract with the Monaco of EuroLeague, AS Monaco of EuroLeague. Happy for my man playing for a really solid squad. And it's such a solid squad that, some people were questioning, like, is this worth it? What happened to him and things like that. And it was really cool to see Nicholas Batum, an NBA player who plays for the Clippers, previously the Charlotte, team. And he actually stood up for Kemba. And he actually quote tweeted this, and we'll hopefully have this on the screen for y'all, but pretty much said, like, it's not given to every good player to move to the 3rd best team in the EuroLeague and live in south of France. Knowing the level of competition in the EuroLeague, it's a pretty good move after what Kemba went through the last couple of months. This team actually beat Victor Wembanyama's team, right, last season in the EuroLeague. And obviously I don't follow it much, but because of Kemba, I'm sure a lot of eyes will be on there. So Kemba clearly, in my honest opinion, still has it, bro. He's not old. He's only 33 years old, man. He has a lot left in the tank, in my honest opinion, bro. And if he has a solid season, because he only signed a 1-year intentional deal, right? If he plays great and has a solid year, and he just turned 33, right? He has a good year with this team. I could totally see him coming back into the mixes with potential NBA teams and, provide value in some way, right? If people like Darren Collison and, even my man Jabari Parker, etc., are still getting workouts with NBA teams, I think Kemba, so long as he gets some buckets, which I think he will, has a shot as well. And that's if he wants to get back to the NBA. But I know he's not done, and he knows he's not done, and he even said he's not done, and he wants to still play at a high level and show that he can compete, and I think he will. I think he's going to love it there. He's going to get some buckets. And I would not be surprised if we see a Kemba Walker, having a role on a future NBA team. Maybe, this would be then him at 34 years old. Maybe it ends up meaning he ends up playing, as a bench role, as, those veterans, kind of like Derrick Rose and things like that veteran point guard role. But that's a huge need now too. You look at Haslam and people like that, that experience goes a long way. And Kemba Walker has a lot of experience. He's matured, and, this year off may be good for him. I'm rooting for him, bro, because it's tough seeing, studs just get diminished from the league like Isaiah Thomas and others, even Dwight Howard, to be honest. But, I'm rooting for Kemba. He was the first person we wanted to talk about in this video because he means a lot to the game of basketball. He means a lot to me as I've met him and I just saw that genuineness and character come out. And I know he means a lot to a lot of people as well, bro. He's one of those guys you root for. He's one of those guys you respect. And at one point in time, he was a top 5 point guard in the league, bro. So I hope he kills it. I hope he does work, and I hope we see him back in the NBA. But without further ado, everybody, in the comments down below, let me know what y'all think about Kemba Walker, how well he's going to do. Is he coming back to the NBA? Is he done? Let me know in the comments down below. And who should we make a video about next? Who's missing? Who do you want to know about? Who do you want your boy STG to do some research on? Because I'll do it, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like this video if you already have not, and subscribe if you haven't either, bro. We're having a lot of fun with these videos. And I'll see y'all in the next video, everybody.